Chapter 1. David Beckham, more than a football star. Hello and welcome. Today, we will explore the story of one of the most famous football players in the world, David Beckham. You probably know him from the big stadiums, amazing goals, and famous team photos. But do you know the real story behind the fame? Today, we will learn about the hard work, the mistakes, and the determination that made him more than just a football star. Many people see Beckham on television and think his life was easy. They see the trophies, the awards, and the cheers of thousands of fans. But life was not always like that for him. Before the fame, before the money, and before the lights, David Beckham was just a boy with a dream. He had struggles, fears, and failures, and these challenges shaped him into the man he is today. Imagine a young boy in London, kicking a small ball in a quiet street. No cameras, no fans, just him and his dream. He dreamed of playing football, of becoming the best. But the path was not easy. Sometimes he failed. Sometimes he got tired. Sometimes people told him, "Maybe you are not good enough." At those moments, he could have given up. But he did not. He kept going. And this is the first lesson we can learn from him. Dreams require effort and courage. David's story is not only about talent, it is about learning, practicing, and trying again when things go wrong. He made mistakes on the field. He faced criticism from coaches and fans. He experienced pain, disappointment, and pressure. But instead of giving up, he learned from every mistake. He improved step by step, day by day. And this is the secret that many people do not see when they watch him score a perfect goal on television. In this video, we will not only follow David Beckham's football career, we will also see the man behind the fame. We will understand how his hard work, patience, and courage helped him succeed. We will learn how he faced challenges, handled criticism, and grew from his failures. And while we learn his story, we will also practice English, using simple words, clear sentences, and interesting stories. So, what made David Beckham more than just a football player? Why do millions of people admire him not only for his goals, but also for his character and courage? In this video, we will answer these questions. We will start at the beginning, with his childhood, his first dreams, and the small steps that built a great journey. Let us begin this inspiring story together. Let us see how a young boy with a dream became one of the most admired football players in the world. And let us discover the lessons we can apply in our own lives, while also improving our English listening and reading skills. Are you ready? Then, let's go. Chapter 2. Childhood Dreams. Hello again. Now we begin the first chapter of David Beckham's story, his childhood dreams. This is where everything started. David Beckham was born in London, England on May 7, 1975. He grew up in a normal family, with a mother, a father, and siblings. His home was not large, and life was simple. But in that simple life, a big dream was growing. From a very young age, David loved football. He did not just like it, he loved it with all his heart. He played with his friends in the streets of Leytonstone, a small area in East London. Sometimes the games were short, sometimes they lasted all afternoon. Other kids played for fun, but David always wanted to be better. He wanted to learn new tricks. He wanted to kick the ball perfectly. Imagine a small boy around 7 years old with worn shoes, running after a football in the quiet streets. The sun was shining, and the sound of his ball hitting the wall echoed between houses. Other children went home to rest or to watch television, but David stayed outside. He practiced again and again. He kicked the ball, stopped it, turned, and kicked again. His legs were tired, but he did not care. He wanted to improve. This dedication is what made him different from other boys. This is the first lesson from his childhood. Dreams need effort from the start. David's family noticed his passion. His father, Ted Beckham, was a big fan of football too. He encouraged David and his brothers to play. Sometimes David's father would take him to watch professional matches. He would explain the tactics and the skills. These moments inspired David even more. He saw how real players moved, how they controlled the ball, and how they worked as a team. He wanted to be like them, but he also wanted to be better. Even at school, David loved football more than anything. During breaks, he ran to the playground with a small ball. He practiced dribbling and passing. While other children rested or played other games, David focused only on football. Teachers noticed his talent. They said he was quick, smart, and determined. But being talented was not enough. David knew that to achieve his dream, he had to work harder than anyone else. One important story from his childhood shows his determination. There was a cold, winter evening. Most children were at home drinking hot chocolate and staying warm, but David went to the small local park, alone, with his ball. He practiced free kicks, aiming at a goal made of old jackets. He fell many times. The ball hit him in the face, he slipped on the wet grass, and sometimes he felt like giving up. But he did not. He got up. He kicked the ball again. He practiced for hours. This small moment of effort, invisible to the world, shows why he became extraordinary. Ordinary boys rest, but dreamers work. In addition to hard work, David had big imagination. He often imagined himself playing in big stadiums, with thousands of fans cheering. He imagined scoring goals for England and Manchester United. These dreams were small at first, like tiny sparks in his mind. But every kick, every practice, made the spark bigger. One day, that spark would turn into a bright fire, illuminating his path to greatness. However, life was not only practice and dreams. David also went to school, did homework, and had friends. He was an ordinary boy in many ways. He liked music, jokes, and spending time with his family. But his love for football set him apart. It gave him focus. It gave him purpose. And even as a young boy, he learned an important truth. If you want to be great, you must start early. You must practice even when no one is watching. You must believe in yourself even when others doubt you. David's childhood also taught him patience. Improvement does not happen overnight. Sometimes he missed a goal. Sometimes the ball did not go where he wanted. Sometimes he fell and hurt himself. But he learned to try again. He learned to wait for results and to enjoy the small victories. A perfect kick, a clean goal, a successful dribble, all were small rewards for his effort. And step by step, he built the skills that would later make him famous. So, as we look at David Beckham's childhood, we see a contrast. On the outside, he was just a normal boy in London. On the inside, he was a dreamer, a hard worker, and a future superstar. His dedication, imagination, and patience were the seeds of his later success. The story of a small boy practicing alone in a cold park teaches us something simple but powerful. If you start with effort, dreams can grow into reality. Next, we will see how David faced his first real challenges. School teams, local clubs, and competitive matches were waiting for him. Not everything went smoothly. Mistakes, rejections, and doubts would test his courage. But these early struggles were the next step in his journey, shaping the man who would become one of the most admired footballers in the world. Chapter 3: First Challenges. Hello again. In this section, we will see that dreams are not always easy. Even a talented boy like David Beckham faced his first real challenges. These challenges tested his courage, patience, and love for football. Today, we will learn how he dealt with rejection, mistakes, and tough teachers. When David was still a young boy, he wanted to join professional football clubs. He dreamed of playing for Manchester United one day. But the path was not simple. Many clubs rejected him at first. They said he was too small, too slow, or not ready. Each rejection was like a small stone on his path. It could have made him stop. Many children would have given up. But David did not. Sometimes, his coaches were very strict. They shouted when mistakes happened. They expected perfect passes and strong shots. Young David felt frustrated. He wanted to do well, but he also wanted to enjoy playing. Balancing both was hard. One day, a coach told him he was not good enough for the team. David went home and felt sad. He thought, maybe football is not for me. He even considered quitting. But that evening, he remembered why he loved football. He remembered the quiet streets of Leytonstone, the cold winter park, and the hours he practiced alone. He remembered his dream of playing in a big stadium. Suddenly, he felt a small fire in his heart. He decided to try again. He told himself, I will not give up. I will learn from my mistakes. This decision was very important. It taught him that persistence is stronger than fear. In addition to rejection, David faced injuries. One time during a school match, he fell badly and hurt his ankle. It was painful. He could not walk properly for weeks. Some children might have stopped playing for a long time. But David used this time to think, to study football in his mind, and to practice small exercises to get stronger. This experience taught him patience and resilience. He learned that challenges are not walls, they are lessons. Another struggle was learning from mistakes. Sometimes he passed the ball too slowly, or he lost control during a game. Critics laughed or shouted. It was embarrassing. But David understood an important truth. Mistakes are not the end. They are opportunities to improve. He watched other players carefully. He studied videos. He practiced again and again. Little by little, he became better. There is one emotional story from this time that shows his courage. He was trying out for a local youth club. He wanted to impress the coach. He trained hard, but during the final test, he made a mistake. The ball slipped, and the opposing team scored. The coach shook his head. David felt his heart sink. He thought he had lost his chance forever. He went home, crying, feeling hopeless. But after a while, he remembered his dreams. He took a deep breath and decided to try again the next day. This small choice, to keep going, made the difference between failure and future success. Through these challenges, David learned important life lessons. He learned that rejection is not the end, but a signal to try harder. He learned that mistakes are teachers, not enemies. He learned that injuries or difficulties do not stop dreams. They make you stronger. And he learned that persistence, even when it is hard, leads to results. By the end of this period, David was stronger, smarter, and more determined. He was no longer just a boy who loved football. He was a young player ready to face bigger challenges. He had faced frustration, criticism, and pain, and he had not given up. This was the key difference between ordinary boys and future stars. Now, having overcome his first real challenges, David was ready for his first big breakthrough. His skills, discipline, and courage caught the attention of professional scouts. The next step of his journey would show the world that his hard work was beginning to pay off. He would move from practicing alone in quiet streets to playing on a bigger stage with new opportunities and new tests waiting for him. And this is where our story continues, as David Beckham's journey moves from struggle to opportunity, from a young boy with dreams to a young footballer ready to shine. Chapter 4. Rising Through the Ranks. Welcome back. Now, we move to an exciting part of David Beckham's journey, rising through the ranks. This is where hard work, patience, and determination began to pay off. After facing early struggles, David's talent and effort started to be noticed. He joined Manchester United's youth team, and this was a very important step in his life. Joining the youth team was not easy. David had to compete with many boys, all of them very talented. Each training session was intense. Coaches watched every move, every pass, every kick. Some players became nervous. Some gave up when they made mistakes. But David remembered the lessons from his childhood. He stayed focused. He practiced with patience. He learned from every small error, and he never let fear stop him. One of the first big moments came during a youth match against a strong local team. The stadium was small, but the pressure was big. Some players got nervous and made mistakes. The other team scored a goal, and many players felt discouraged. David, however, stayed calm. He ran, passed, and controlled the ball carefully. He remembered the hours he practiced alone, the lessons from his coaches, and the dream of playing for the first team. Slowly, he helped his team recover. He made a perfect pass to a teammate who scored the winning goal. After the match, the coach noticed him. He said, "David, you have patience, focus, and skill. Keep working like this." This moment was small but very important. It showed that effort and calm under pressure are stronger than fear. David's journey in the youth team was full of practice and learning. Every day, he woke early to train. He ran, passed, and practiced free kicks. While other boys relaxed after school, he stayed on the field. He practiced in rain, wind, and cold. Sometimes his legs were sore. Sometimes he wanted to rest. But he reminded himself of the dream he wanted to reach. Every small effort was building something bigger, the skills and character of a future professional footballer. Over time, David moved closer to the main Manchester United team. Coaches saw his dedication, intelligence, and teamwork. They noticed how he kept trying, even when things were difficult. While other players might lose focus or give up under pressure, David remained consistent. This is an important lesson. Growth comes from regular effort, not sudden talent. Talent is important, but persistence makes it shine. During this time, David faced new challenges. The matches were faster, stronger, and more competitive. Opponents were skilled, and mistakes could be costly. He sometimes missed passes or lost the ball. But each time, he learned. He studied his movements, observed other players, and practiced harder the next day. His patience and willingness to learn made him stand out. Coaches began to trust him more, and teammates respected his focus. Another important story comes from a match that changed everything. David was only 16 years old. Manchester United faced a strong rival youth team with many experienced players. The game was tense. Some of the older boys felt pressure and played nervously, but David remembered his practice. He ran, passed, and made careful decisions. In the last minutes, he took the ball near the goal, dribbled past two defenders, and made a perfect cross to a teammate who scored the winning goal. Everyone cheered, and the coach said, "This boy has something special. He can play in the first team one day." This moment showed that patience, effort, and focus under pressure create opportunities. David also learned that rising through the ranks was not just about skills. It was about attitude. He helped younger players, encouraged teammates, and respected coaches. Some players were selfish, thinking only about their own goals. David's teamwork and humility made him a better player and a better person. This combination of skill, focus, and character made him ready for bigger challenges. While David was improving on the field, he also faced small setbacks. Injuries, tiredness, and criticism from coaches tested him. Sometimes he felt frustrated, but instead of quitting, he used every challenge as a lesson. He remembered the advice of his early coaches and his father: work hard, be patient, and never give up. Each step, even a small mistake or a hard loss, became part of his journey. By the time David joined the first team, he was ready. His talent was clear, but more importantly, his effort, patience, and discipline were visible. He had learned that success does not come overnight. It comes from consistent effort, learning from mistakes, and staying calm under pressure. These lessons prepared him not only for football, but also for life beyond the field. David Beckham's rise through Manchester United shows a powerful truth. Extraordinary achievements are the result of ordinary actions done every day with focus and dedication. Every kick, every practice, and every small decision mattered. While other players gave up or got frustrated, David stayed patient and worked quietly. And this patience and persistence made him ready for the next stage: fame and public attention. Soon, the world would see David not only as a young talent, but as a football star. Cameras, fans, and media attention were coming. New pressures, new challenges, and new mistakes awaited him. But he had learned the most important lesson: hard work, patience, and effort always open doors. And this brings us to the next part of his story, where David Beckham steps into the world of fame, facing the excitement and the pressure of being a public figure. How would he handle attention, criticism, and expectations? This is where his journey becomes even more inspiring. Chapter 5: Fame and Pressure. Welcome back. Now, we move into a very exciting but challenging part of David Beckham's story: fame and pressure. After rising through the ranks of Manchester United, David began to become famous. People in England knew his name. Fans cheered for him in stadiums. Newspapers wrote about his skills. But fame was not always easy. It brought new challenges, new mistakes, and new pressure. At first, fame was exciting. Imagine being a young man, stepping onto the field, and seeing thousands of fans cheering for you. Cameras followed every move. People recognized you on the street. Autographs, photos, interviews, everything became part of daily life. For many, this might feel like a dream come true. But for David, it was also overwhelming. His normal life changed. Simple things like walking to school or spending time with friends were no longer easy. Pressure came from many sides. Fans expected perfect games. Coaches expected perfect skills. Journalists wrote about every small mistake, every missed goal, every lost match, and every wrong pass became news. Young players sometimes feel afraid of failure, but David remembered what he learned in his childhood and youth career. Mistakes are opportunities to grow. He understood that fame is not just about happiness, it is also a test of character. One famous example shows this very clearly. In the Euro 1996 tournament, Beckham took a penalty for England. It was a crucial moment. Many people watched and waited. He missed the penalty. Immediately, newspapers criticized him. Fans shouted in anger. Some people even said he should never play again for the national team. David felt sadness, frustration, and shame. It was one of the hardest moments in his career. But instead of giving up, David made a choice. He could either let the criticism control him or learn from it. He chose to learn. He practiced more, studied his technique, and stayed calm in the next games. Slowly, people saw his dedication and courage. He became a stronger player and a stronger person. This moment teaches us a very important lesson. Pressure tests your character, but the right mindset can turn challenges into growth. Fame also changed his daily life. Simple things became complicated. Walking in the city, buying groceries, or meeting friends required attention. Paparazzi often followed him. People commented on his style, his hair, and even his personal life. For some young stars, this could lead to stress or poor decisions. But David stayed focused on his goals. He remembered his early dreams, his long hours of practice, and his love for football. These memories helped him stay grounded. David also learned to balance public life with personal life. Family, friends, and hobbies became his anchor. Even with pressure from fans and media, he stayed connected to the people who supported him from the beginning. He understood that fame is not only about attention, but also about responsibility. Every action he took, every word he said, could influence others. This awareness helped him grow as a leader and role model. Another important story comes from his first international matches. David had to play against very strong teams. He felt nervous. The stadiums were huge, the fans were loud, and mistakes were easy. Some players froze under pressure, but David remembered his practice, his patience, and his previous challenges. He focused on his movements, his passes, and teamwork. Even when he missed, he learned. Step by step, he became a confident international player. Pressure also taught him humility. While many young stars feel above others when they become famous, David remained respectful to teammates, coaches, and fans. He understood that fame is temporary, but character lasts forever. His attitude inspired millions of young people around the world. They saw that even a superstar can stay humble, work hard, and keep learning. As David faced fame and pressure, he made mistakes, learned lessons, and grew stronger. This part of his life shows us that success is not only about talent or skill. It is also about how we handle attention, criticism, and expectations. A positive mindset can transform fear and stress into growth and confidence. Next, we will see another important lesson in his journey: learning from mistakes. While pressure tested him, it was his ability to reflect, correct, and improve that prepared him for even greater challenges. Every setback became a stepping stone, and every mistake became a lesson. This is where David Beckham's personal growth became as important as his football skills. Chapter 6. Learning from Mistakes. Hello again. In this section, we will explore one of the most important lessons from David Beckham's life: learning from mistakes. Even great players make errors. Even famous people face failures. What makes someone extraordinary is not that they never fail, but that they use mistakes to grow and improve. David Beckham made mistakes on the field. He missed goals, lost the ball, and sometimes miscalculated a pass. One famous example is the penalty he missed in Euro 1996. The newspapers criticized him, fans shouted, and many people doubted him. It was a very difficult moment for a young player. Many children would have felt ashamed, stopped playing, or lost confidence. But David chose a different path. Instead of giving up, he studied his mistake. He practiced more, worked on his technique, and asked his coaches for advice. Slowly, he regained his confidence. In the next matches, he played with focus and skill. He scored important goals and helped his team win. This shows us that mistakes are not the end. They are lessons. Every failure is a chance to become better. Mistakes did not only happen on the field. David also faced errors off the field. Being famous, every action he took was watched. Sometimes media misreported stories about him or his family. He said or did things that were misunderstood. At first, these moments were frustrating and embarrassing, but David learned to handle them calmly. He understood that everyone makes mistakes. The key is to respond wisely, learn, and move forward. One important story from this time shows his courage. In a league match, he tried a difficult free kick. He miscalculated and the ball went far from the goal. The fans sighed, and some shouted in disappointment. David felt embarrassment and pressure, but during the next practice, he tried the free kick again and again. He studied the angle, his speed, and his position. After many attempts, he succeeded. Later, he scored a perfect free kick in an important game. His recovery from this small failure became a symbol of determination and learning. Learning from mistakes also helped David grow as a person. He realized that shame is temporary, but knowledge and skill last forever. When something goes wrong, it is normal to feel sad or frustrated. But instead of letting these feelings stop you, you can choose to analyze, understand, and improve. This mindset helped him not only in football, but in life, relationships, and personal growth. Another example comes from his early career with Manchester United. Sometimes he passed the ball too slowly or made a wrong decision during a match. Coaches gave feedback, sometimes sharply. Other players might have felt discouraged. David listened carefully. He understood that criticism is not punishment. It is a guide. He practiced more, learned from every correction, and became a better player. Every mistake was a stepping stone to success. David also taught young players about mistakes. He encouraged them to practice, to be patient, and to stay positive. He explained that errors are natural. No one is perfect. The important thing is how you respond. His attitude inspired teammates and fans. People saw that even a superstar can make mistakes, but resilience and effort lead to growth. Off the field, David learned from his public missteps as well. Interviews, fashion choices, and media attention could bring misunderstandings. At first, these moments were difficult, but he took them as lessons in communication and awareness. He became more careful, more thoughtful, and more humble. Mistakes, whether small or large, shaped him into a wiser, stronger person. In summary, learning from mistakes is a key part of David Beckham's journey. Errors on the field, missed goals, criticism from fans, or media misunderstandings all became opportunities to improve. Instead of shame stopping him, he chose learning. Instead of fear preventing him, he chose courage. Every mistake became a stepping stone, helping him grow stronger, smarter, and more confident. Next, we will see how these lessons in learning and growth helped David develop teamwork and leadership skills. His ability to overcome errors, support teammates, and inspire others made him not only a great player, but also a respected leader. These qualities would take him beyond individual success and show the power of collaboration and guidance in football and life. Chapter 7. Teamwork and Leadership. Hello again. In this section, we will explore another important part of David Beckham's journey: teamwork and leadership. Being a great player is not only about skill, it is also about helping others, inspiring teammates, and making the team stronger. Beckham learned this lesson as he grew in his career. When David played for Manchester United, he noticed something important. Some players focused only on themselves. They wanted to score goals or get attention. But David understood that football is a team sport. Even the best player cannot win alone. He began to think about how he could help his teammates, make them better, and work together for success. This mindset made him a true leader. One important story shows his leadership clearly. Manchester United was playing a very difficult match. The score was equal, and time was running out. Some players felt nervous and selfishly tried to score by themselves. David, however, focused on teamwork. He passed the ball carefully, encouraged others, and stayed calm under pressure. In the last minutes, he made a perfect cross to a teammate who scored the winning goal. The team celebrated together, and the coach praised David's leadership. This moment showed that leadership is about helping others, not just winning. David also learned to inspire young players. He often mentored teammates and encouraged them to practice, learn from mistakes, and stay positive. His attitude made the team stronger. Players admired him not only for his skill, but also for his kindness and guidance. Beckham understood that true leadership combines respect, support, and example. Off the field, David's leadership was just as important. He respected coaches, listened carefully to advice, and communicated well with teammates. Some young players struggled with confidence or mistakes, but David encouraged them to keep trying. He explained that every error is a chance to learn. By helping others, he became a respected figure in the team. Leadership, he realized, is not about authority. It is about responsibility and care for others. Teamwork also helped David handle pressure. When fans, media, or critics created tension, he relied on his teammates. He shared ideas, listened to advice, and stayed connected. The support of a team makes challenges easier to face. Beckham understood that cooperation, communication, and mutual trust are key to success. Another story from his career illustrates this lesson. During an important international match for England, the team faced a very strong opponent. Some players were nervous and wanted to act alone. David reminded them to trust each other, pass the ball, and play together. His calm voice and careful planning helped the team stay organized. In the final moments, teamwork led to a goal, securing victory. This shows that leadership and collaboration can change the outcome of a game. David also used leadership to set an example. He arrived early to training, practiced harder than many others, and stayed focused during matches. Younger players noticed this and followed his example. He showed that leadership is not only about talking, It is about doing, showing, and inspiring through action. Contrast is important in understanding his growth. Selfish play may win a small goal, but teamwork builds long-term success. Leaders who only care about themselves may struggle under pressure. David chose a different path. He valued collaboration, encouragement, and respect. This approach made him a more complete player and a positive role model. Leadership also taught him patience. Sometimes teammates made mistakes or did not understand his advice immediately. David learned to guide calmly, repeat instructions, and show empathy. Great leaders do not rush or criticize harshly, they teach and support. His patience helped build strong relationships on and off the field. Through teamwork and leadership, David Beckham became more than a talented player. He became someone who could inspire, guide, and strengthen others. These qualities would help him not only in football, but also in life beyond the field. He learned that success is not only personal, it is shared. Helping others, supporting friends, and working together create stronger results than working alone. Next, we will explore David Beckham's life beyond football. How did he balance family, charity work, and personal passions with his busy career? How did he continue growing as a person while being famous? These lessons about balance and life outside the field are just as inspiring as his skills and leadership. Chapter 8. Life Beyond Football. Hello again. Now, we will explore an important part of David Beckham's story, life beyond football. While he became famous for his skills on the field, his true greatness also comes from his actions off the field. Beckham showed the world that success is not only about goals and trophies, it is also about family, charity, and following your passions. Even during the busiest periods of his football career, David made time for his family. He married Victoria Adams, who later became Victoria Beckham, and together they raised their children with love and care. For David, family was always a priority. He balanced his football commitments with home life. While some famous athletes focus only on their careers, David understood that real happiness comes from connection with loved ones. He spent time playing with his children, supporting their activities, and being present in daily life. This balance helped him stay grounded and joyful, even under pressure. Charity work was another important part of his life. Beckham believed that fame brings responsibility. He used his influence to help people in need. One memorable story is about a charity event for children who were sick or living in difficult conditions. David visited hospitals, played football with the children, and spoke kindly to each of them. His presence brought smiles and hope. Even though he could have avoided the effort or stayed busy with training, he chose to give time, energy, and care. This teaches an important lesson. True success is measured not only by personal achievements, but also by the positive impact you have on others. David also explored passions outside football. He became interested in fashion, advertising, and public appearances. Some athletes focus only on sports, but David used his creativity and style to inspire others. He worked with designers, launched campaigns, and participated in events that encouraged self-expression. These activities showed the world another side of him. He was not just a football player, he was a person with ideas, style, and vision. Pursuing passions beyond the field enriched his life and inspired fans worldwide. Balancing career and personal life was not always easy. Football demanded long hours, training, and travel. Fame brought media attention, schedules, and obligations. Some people would lose themselves in work and forget the joys of life. But David remained mindful. He took moments to rest, reflect, and enjoy time with his family. He also continued learning and growing, understanding that life is bigger than one career or one goal. This balance is a key lesson we can learn. Success is more meaningful when it includes love, giving, and personal growth. One story shows his care for the community. Beckham participated in a charity match to raise funds for children affected by war and poverty. He played with focus, but he also talked to fans, inspired young players, and encouraged donations. His presence made a real difference. People admired him not only for football skills, but also for using his platform to help others. This shows that success and influence can be used to make the world better. In his family life, David set an example of patience, kindness, and respect. He supported his wife's career and encouraged their children to follow their dreams. While some athletes let fame take over, Beckham maintained strong personal values. He showed that love, care, and balance are essential parts of a fulfilled life. Happiness is not only about achievements, it is also about nurturing relationships and sharing experiences. Even in fashion and public appearances, David stayed humble. He explored opportunities with curiosity and professionalism, learning new skills and building connections. This shows another important lesson. Life is full of opportunities beyond the first dream. Success is not limited to one path. By exploring different passions, you can grow, inspire others, and leave a meaningful legacy. Through charity, family, and personal interests, David Beckham created a life that was rich and balanced. He proved that fame and skill are important, but they are more valuable when combined with kindness, responsibility, and love. True success includes giving back, supporting others, and enjoying the simple joys of life. Next, we will see how David faced challenges after his football career. Even after leaving the stadiums, new tests awaited him. Business ventures, public expectations, and personal growth. His journey reminds us that life is a continuous story, full of opportunities to learn, grow, and inspire others, no matter what stage we are in. Chapter 9. Overcoming Post-Career Challenges. Hello again. Now, we reach an important chapter in David Beckham's story. Life after football. Retiring from professional sports is not easy. Even the greatest players face a new world, with new challenges, expectations, and opportunities. Today, we will see how David turned change into growth and found purpose beyond the football field. After leaving Manchester United and other clubs, David faced a feeling many athletes know well. For years, his life had been structured around training, matches, and team goals. Suddenly, that routine was gone. At first, he felt uncertainty. What would he do now? How could he use his energy, talent, and time? Some retired athletes feel lost or bored, but David chose a different path. He saw retirement not as an ending, but as a new beginning. The first challenge was staying active and healthy. Football had been his life, and physical activity was a natural part of it. Even after retirement, he continued to train, run, and play in charity matches. He understood that keeping his body strong was not only good for health, but also for confidence and mental focus. Physical activity became a way to transition into his new life. It gave him energy to explore other passions. David also explored business opportunities. He had always been curious about fashion, media, and public engagement. After retiring, he invested time in learning about these areas. He met with experts, asked questions, and tried new ventures. Some projects succeeded, some did not. But every attempt was a learning experience. This mindset is very important. Change is not a setback. It is an opportunity to discover new talents and passions. Media and public expectations added another layer of challenge. Even after retiring from football, people expected David to stay perfect. Fans, journalists, and social media watched every move. Mistakes or failures were noticed quickly. Some retired athletes feel pressure and anxiety in these situations, but David stayed calm. He focused on what he could control: his actions, his attitude, and his willingness to learn. He embraced his public role with responsibility and humility. One story shows his determination after football. David participated in a charity match in a new country. He had to adapt to different rules, weather, and teammates. At first, he felt nervous and unsure, but he remembered the lessons from his youth: patience, practice, and focus. He quickly adjusted, played well, and inspired others. Fans and teammates noticed his energy and leadership, proving that skills learned on the field can be applied anywhere. David also balanced work with personal life. Retirement gave him more time for family, travel, and hobbies. He spent time with his children, supported their activities, and maintained strong relationships. Some people think retirement ends purpose, but David showed that new opportunities and personal growth can make life even richer. Balance became a key factor in his happiness. Another challenge was learning new skills. Business, fashion, and media require knowledge different from football. David attended meetings, studied trends, and listened to advice. He understood that growth comes from curiosity and effort. Even someone who is successful in one area must continue learning to succeed in new areas. This attitude kept him motivated and prepared for future opportunities. Through all these challenges, David discovered resilience. He faced change, public scrutiny, and new responsibilities with courage and determination. Feeling lost after retirement could have stopped him, but he chose action. He explored new paths, stayed active, and continued inspiring others. This shows an important lesson. Life changes are opportunities, not endings. Challenges can become stepping stones for growth, learning, and new achievements. By overcoming post-career challenges, David Beckham proved that success is not only about the first dream. It is also about adapting, learning, and staying motivated. Life is full of transitions, and every stage offers lessons. With patience, effort, and resilience, even difficult changes can lead to new accomplishments. Next, we will explore resilience as a central trait in David Beckham's life. How did he handle setbacks, criticism, and pressure throughout his career? Resilience allowed him to stay strong, face challenges, and continue growing, both on the field and off. This is a key part of his journey and one of the most inspiring lessons for all of us. Chapter 10: Inspiration for Others. Hello again. Now we will explore a beautiful part of David Beckham's journey, how he inspires millions of people around the world. Talent, fame, and success are important, but true greatness comes from the way you influence others. David Beckham shows us that persistence, humility, and kindness can inspire people in powerful ways. From a young age, David became a role model. Children watched him on television, admired his skill, and dreamed of becoming like him. But his influence went deeper than goals and free kicks. People saw his dedication to practice, his patience during challenges, and his positive attitude even after mistakes. These qualities showed fans that hard work and good character matter as much as talent. One story shows this inspiration clearly. A young boy in London loved football but struggled in school and in his local team. He often felt he was not good enough. He remembered watching David Beckham play. He saw how David had faced rejection, missed goals, and worked tirelessly to succeed. The boy decided to follow his example. He practiced every day, even when it was hard. He listened to coaches, learned from mistakes, and never gave up. Slowly, he improved. He joined a local team and even won a small trophy. David's journey taught him that persistence and focus can turn dreams into reality. Inspiring others also comes from humility. David never acted as if he was above anyone else. He respected teammates, coaches, and fans. This attitude made him approachable and admired. People saw that even a superstar can stay kind, supportive, and humble. Fans learned an important lesson. Success is meaningful when it is combined with respect for others. David's impact extends beyond football. His charity work, family values, and public appearances show young people that life is about more than individual achievement. By giving time and effort to help others, he demonstrates the importance of compassion and responsibility. Children, teenagers, and adults alike see that greatness is measured not only by trophies, but also by the positive impact you have on the world. Contrast helps us understand his influence. Many people give up when they face obstacles. They see difficulty and stop trying. David Beckham's story shows a different path. Challenges are not reasons to quit. They are opportunities to learn, improve, and inspire. By seeing how he handled rejection, mistakes, and pressure, fans understand that persistence matters more than immediate success. Another inspiring story comes from a charity event in a hospital. David visited children who were sick or living in difficult situations. He played football with them, signed autographs, and listened to their stories. One child, who had been too shy to play with others, felt encouraged by Beckham's kindness. The child gained confidence, joined a local football team, and began making friends. This small act of inspiration shows that leadership, generosity, and patience can change lives. David's example also motivates learners of all kinds, not only football players. Students, young professionals, and aspiring athletes see that discipline, effort, and focus lead to growth. Watching him practice, persevere, and improve teaches a universal lesson. No matter your skill level, consistent effort and a positive attitude can create success. Fans from all over the world admire his resilience. When he faced injuries, criticism, or public pressure, he stayed calm and focused. This attitude teaches that life will always present difficulties, but how we respond determines our path. Many young people follow his example by facing challenges with courage instead of fear. Even small actions show inspiration. Signing an autograph, mentoring a teammate, or visiting a charity may seem minor, but they send a powerful message. Your actions can help others. Beckham shows that inspiration comes from everyday choices, persistence, humility, and kindness. Through his story, David Beckham teaches us that greatness is not only about personal success, it is about how you influence others, help them overcome challenges, and encourage them to follow their dreams. His journey motivates millions to work hard, stay humble, and remain kind. Next, we will reflect on the life lessons we can learn from David Beckham's journey. From childhood dreams to global fame, from mistakes to leadership and inspiration, we will see how his story shows the power of perseverance, character, and love for life. This final reflection will help us understand how to apply these lessons in our own lives. Chapter 11: Life Lessons and Legacy. Hello again, and welcome to the final part of David Beckham's inspiring journey. In this section, we will reflect on the many lessons we can learn from his life. From childhood dreams to global fame, from mistakes to leadership, and from football to personal growth, Beckham's story teaches us not only about sports, but about life itself. David's journey began as a young boy in London with a simple dream: to play football. He loved the game more than anything. Every day he practiced in the streets and parks, even when other children were resting. His dedication showed an important lesson. Dreams need effort from the very beginning. Talent alone is not enough. Consistent practice, patience, and focus are the foundation for achieving great things. Beckham reminds us that every small effort counts. Every kick, every pass, and every hour of practice builds the skills and character needed for success. But dreams are not always easy to achieve. David faced many first challenges. He was rejected by clubs, criticized by coaches, and sometimes injured. At times, he felt frustrated and thought about giving up. Many people would stop when the road is hard, but David chose persistence. He learned from mistakes, listened to advice, and continued practicing. This teaches us a universal lesson. Obstacles are opportunities. Failure is not the end. Every mistake is a stepping stone to improvement. Learning from errors allows us to grow stronger, smarter, and more resilient. As Beckham rose through the ranks of Manchester United, his story teaches patience and consistency. Joining the youth team was only the beginning. He trained daily, practiced tirelessly, and remained calm under pressure. Some players gave up or became nervous during matches. David stayed focused, helping his team win and impressing coaches with his discipline. This shows us that growth is not sudden. It is the result of repeated effort, learning, and dedication. Progress may be slow, but consistent effort leads to mastery. Fame and pressure were another test of character. When David became famous in England and around the world, life changed completely. Fans, media, and public expectations created challenges. He missed goals, faced criticism, and had to handle mistakes in public. Some people might have been discouraged or lost confidence. But Beckham chose the right mindset. He used pressure to learn, to improve, and to become stronger. This teaches an important lesson. Pressure is not an enemy. It is a chance to show courage, resilience, and growth. How we respond to challenges defines our success. David's journey also shows the importance of leadership and teamwork. On the field, he learned to support teammates, encourage young players, and share victories. Leadership is not about personal glory. It is about helping others shine. He inspired teammates by example, showing patience, focus, and humility. Off the field, his care for family, friends, and fans demonstrates that true leaders combine skill with kindness. Teamwork, Encouragement and empathy create stronger results than working alone. Beckham reminds us that success is shared, not only personal. Life beyond football shows the value of balance and personal growth. David explored fashion, media, and charity work. He spent time with family, helped others, and followed new passions. Many people focus only on career, but Beckham balanced his professional life with personal fulfillment. Giving back, supporting family, and pursuing diverse interests are as important as professional achievement. True success includes love, care, and contribution to the world. Even after retirement, David faced post-career challenges. Life without football brought uncertainty, new responsibilities, and expectations from fans. Some retired athletes feel lost, but Beckham saw change as an opportunity. He explored business, media, and charity, learning new skills and discovering new passions. This teaches a vital lesson. Change is not a setback. Every stage of life offers opportunities to grow, inspire, and achieve. Resilience and curiosity make every transition meaningful. Perhaps the most inspiring part of David Beckham's story is how he motivates others. Children, fans, and learners worldwide look up to him. A young boy struggling in school or a small football club sees Beckham's perseverance and courage and decides to try again. Fans see his humility, kindness, and leadership and learn that greatness comes from character, not only skill. Beckham inspires people to stay persistent, remain humble, and act with kindness. Influence is not measured by fame alone, but by the positive impact we have on others. Looking back, we see a journey full of lessons: childhood dreams and dedication, challenges and mistakes, growth and patience, fame and pressure, leadership and teamwork, balance and personal growth, and resilience in times of change. Every step teaches us something valuable. Beckham's life is a guide for young people and learners everywhere. It shows that talent is only the start. Effort, mindset, and character are what create true achievement. For English learners, David Beckham's story offers more than inspiration. Listening, reading, and understanding his journey helps improve language skills while learning important life lessons. Each story, each challenge, and each success is an opportunity to practice comprehension, vocabulary, and pronunciation. Stories like Beckham's combine motivation with education, showing that learning English can also teach resilience, patience, and determination. As we close this story, remember this message: be your best, like Beckham, in every part of life. Work hard, learn from mistakes, support others, stay balanced, and embrace challenges with courage. Use your dreams as a guide, and let persistence and positive mindset lead you forward. Every small effort counts, and every obstacle is a chance to grow. Just like David Beckham, you can achieve greatness in your own journey, no matter your age, background, or skill level. So keep practicing English, keep learning new things, and keep dreaming big. Let stories like Beckham's inspire you to take action, to stay patient, and to be kind. Life is full of challenges and opportunities. Use each moment to grow, help others, and become the best version of yourself. David Beckham's journey is a reminder that hard work, humility, and courage can create a legacy that inspires millions. And you too can leave a positive mark on the world by living with purpose, determination, and kindness. Remember, your story is just beginning. Like Beckham, dream big, Work hard and stay resilient. The lessons from his life are tools for your own success, in football, in learning English, or in any part of life you choose. Be inspired, take action, and make every day meaningful.